A Victorian sugar cake tower makes a beautiful display for your buffet table. Now I'm using an electric mixer, and you can mix this by hand because it's a very basic recipe. I've taken room temperature butter and I'm blending it in with the sugar. Once it's all nice and fluffy, I'll add the eggs and the rest of the ingredients, including the vanilla, and the salt. Once this is well mixed, I'll slowly start adding my flour. This makes a wonderful dough that really doesn't stick to your hands, and it's easy to mold and work with. I'm using 2 heart shapes, a large and a small, and also a circular mold and a star mold. I've lined my cookie sheet with parchment paper, and I've floured my cutting board. I'm not even going to use a roller because this dough works so nicely, and there's so much butter in the recipe that everything just kind of evens out as it cooks. The first thing you need is about 5 large hearts. Now these will resemble a little bit more like a cookie. This is the base of your tower, and it's a little thinner than the other hearts we'll be making. I've preheated my oven to 350, and these cookies, well, the base cookies, cook quite quickly at 15 to 18 minutes. And while those are in the oven, I'm going to continue with the smaller shapes. Now this is where you get the cake part of the sugar cake, because these ones are a little thicker. And I'm going to do a series of the small hearts, a series of the stars, and the circles. In the end, though, I chose not to use the stars on the tower and stuck with just the hearts and the circles. By the time you've finished those, your 5 large hearts should look nice and brown and be cooked well. We simply let the cookie sheet cool down a little bit, and using the same parchment paper, I now bake the rest. I'll be using a glass cake plate to build the tower on, and a nice little doily. By placing a sturdy wine glass in the center, we're going to be able to do a wonderful display, a little bit of roses out the top. I asked my florist for some greens, and make sure that your greens are non-toxic and won't cause an allergy, as they will be touching the base cookies. By simply placing the 5 heart cookies around in a spiral, you create a nice base shape. And we slowly build upwards with the rest. Starting with the circles, I place 4 circles in, and then slowly build on top of the circles with the smaller hearts. Once all the cakes are in place, you can fill up that wine glass with some water and start arranging your flowers up on top. This really creates a wonderful look for the tower. Jane Austen cooking was quite spectacular visually. I use a little powdered sugar, confectioner's sugar, and sprinkle along the top of the sugar cakes.